Truck Company Foundations. This video will cover two-person and single-person conventional forcible entry with the irons. 3 tenets to success, no matter the door, are gap, set, force. Creating a gap is the first step in placing your tool in the most effective position. There are times where gapping alone can force the door open. Easy starting points for most doors are either gapping high on the door or low. In this example, Willman is using a foot gap to create a purchase point for his ads. Leaning into the door with his foot on the bottom corner creates just enough of a gap for him to set his tool. This close-up shows the space created by employing the foot gap, giving room for the ads to find a purchase point. The ads roll. Slide your grip to the end of the Halligan for the highest mechanical advantage and roll your ads in the direction opposite of the pick towards the door. This will either force the door or allow you to capture progress so that you can continue on with the next step of setting your tool. The command that follows is capture. This prompt tells your partner to come in and hold any progress made with either the axe or a wedge. Willman now flips his Halligan and proceeds with setting the tool. Specific commands follow. Hit, drive, stop. Hit indicating one single hit. Drive indicating continuous hits until they are told stop.
Hit! 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 Drive! Stop!
Ensuring your Halligan is set and ready to force. The forks should be well past the door with the Halligan perpendicular to the frame, gauging proper depth. The crotch of the Halligan should at least be in line with the doorstop or past. In cases where doors are accompanied with wide frames, you may have to drive the forks where the shoulders are in line with the doorstop. What makes conventional forcible entry effective is the application of mechanical advantage. With inward swinging doors, your Halligan works as a Class 2 lever, with the fulcrum on one end and the force on the opposite end. Knowing this, you must stay on the utmost end of the Halligan while forcing to take full advantage of the lever and its mechanical advantage. Holding the Halligan anywhere else limits the amount of force applied and increases the likelihood of an unsuccessful force. The second-class lever principle remains the same no matter how the forks are arranged. Whether it be bevel to the frame or bevel to the door, the fulcrum is still followed by the load and then the effort. Time to force. Hand placement. Bevel to the frame. While being at the end of the Halligan, one hand grabs the pick while the other hand grabs just above. Bevel to the door. Force with open hands. This will prevent your fingers from being caught between the tool and the door at the end of your force. The force should be one continuous, aggressive push to the door. Shimmying or rocking the tool back and forth while trying to force can cause the tool to slip out and create a redoubling of efforts that were just discussed. If conditions allow, a quick search for life, fire, and layout will follow. Willman will extend a body's length from the threshold and perform a sweep searching for any victims that may be near the entryway. Be sure to sweep the entire area, including behind the door. Then check fire and smoke conditions, as well as the layout and arrangement of the building involved. Any information gathered will be shared with the crews on the outside preparing to make entry. There are 2 ways to make a lever more effective: extend the lever or apply more force. If there is a difficult force, there should be no hesitation to partner up and apply more force on the tool. Outward swinging doors. The three tenets remain the same: gap, set, force. Creating a gap. The adze is preferred because it can swing further on its fulcrum than the forks during the force, providing more time under tension. The adze, like the forks, also has a slight bevel to it. Line the angle of the adze where the door and the frame meet. An easy way to remember this is to keep the forks flush with the door. You can lean your body into the tool and the door to help keep the tool secured. The adze is now ready to be hit to create a gap. A few good hits will create a gap and move the adze towards the doorstop. Once you hear or feel resistance, your adze has made contact with the stop. The firefighter working with the axe will now ask the firefighter on the Halligan to change their angle by pulling back on their tool. This change in angle is what allows the adze to move past and around the door. It is now ready to be used as a lever. In the case of an outward swinging door, the Halligan now acts as a first-class lever, with the fulcrum being between the load and the force. The load or resistance is now on the back side of the door as well as the locking mechanism, with the fulcrum following on the front side of the door frame. The same takeaway applies here. You must be on the end of the Halligan to properly apply all of its mechanical advantage.
Go back.
If the door fails to force completely open, you can always reset your tool and go back to an adze roll to finish the job. Remember, if you need to increase the efficacy of your lever, you could always apply more force, or you could increase the length of your lever. Here's two examples with two Halligans, as well as a hook and a Halligan. Single person forcible entry. The principles remain the same. The only difference now is how you hold and manage your tools. With an outward swinging door, there are plenty of options. You can use the axe like a pendulum and then finish it off with a few good swings. You can use it like a battering ram, or you can tuck the axe between your arm and your body and use a baseball swing. Just remember, you still have to pull back on the Halligan in order to get the correct angle when you're setting your tool. With an inward swinging door, every step remains the same. You're still going to adze roll, capture progress, flip your forks, and then proceed to set your tool. The baseball swing is recommended with an inward swinging door while applying back pressure on the Halligan. The single person force can take more effort, but it is a realistic fireground expectation. The majority of doors that we encounter can easily be overcome with a set of irons and a well-trained firefighter. Thank you for watching. Go out there, find some doors to practice on, and see what works best for you and your crew.